Okay. So that is, we are going to define and refine the feature variables based on the problem statement here. So defining means nothing but selecting the feature variables based on the problem statement. So refining means nothing but we are going to filter the feature variables which are selected based on the uh, problem statement. So what is refining means, here we are going to search for redundancies and null values, or if there are any outliers. So uh, we are going to try to find these things, and we are going to clean the data. So after getting a clean data set, we will move further for going for or developing a model, maybe for machine learning algorithm. So that's how the exploratory data analysis works. So once again, I will repeat the definition of exploratory data analysis. Nothing but it is a data exploration technique where we are going to define and refine the feature variables for developing any machine learning algorithm. Now, when it comes to the objective, here the objective based on what we are doing here, we are defining and refining the feature variable. So the main objective is to filter the data from redundancies, null values, and any outliers. So that's how we need to, that is the main objective of the exploratory data analysis. So when it comes to the various steps which are involved in the exploratory data analysis are nothing but the first step is we need to understand the data. Next, the cleaning the data. And the third step is where it involves like we need to search for the, or we need to look for the relationship between variables. We need to find if there is any correlation between variables which we have selected as a feature variables for solving our problem statement. So I will present my screen. Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So this is today I'm using Jupyter notebook for exploratory data analysis. So how we need to, whenever we have been given any data set, how we need to move further in this data exploratory data analysis, we look into those steps. So first we'll open a new Jupyter notebook. Okay, can you see this EDA tutorial?
Yeah.
Okay. So we need to, for exploring the data, actually we need some of the packages or tools for doing that. So where we come across like a NumPy, Panda, Matplotlib, Seaborn, and Plotly, we are going to use them here for exploring our data. So first I will go for importing pandas as PD, import NumPy as NP. Yes. So I'm running this. Okay, they got executed successfully. So we'll move, like we'll select some data, like we'll our here we can directly get the data sets from Plotly and C1, and even by using the pandas also we can get from the website. So I will call a data we have stocks data. We'll name it as df underscore stocks ex dot. So it got executed. So we'll see. Actually, we have been given this data, which is like stocks of USA. So we'll see what are the variables which are present in this stock. So whenever we'll start this exploratory data analysis, first we need to check what are the different variables, and if we have the problem statement, based on that we need to select some of the feature variables. So here we have serial number is there, which is starting from 0, and we have like dates, different dates, and we have like Google, Apple, Amazon, Facebook, Netflix, and Microsoft. So these are the different variables where we are having like price on the different dates, price of the stock on the different dates. So based on the problem, we can go for finding out if we wanted to know what the problem is, or something we wanted to know what is Google, how it is moving, or Apple, how it is moving, or Google versus Apple. So that's how we can see. And we can also go for like actually what is the overall data present in this. We can look into it by df underscore stocks dot info. So here we can see if there are any null values here. So the main objective of exploratory data analysis is nothing but find if there are any null values, or if there are wait, is my voice clear? There is a message, something like okay.
Ram, for me, a bit intermittent is the audio is intermittent. Is it with me or is it with everyone?
Maybe
For me,
I
it's
don't know,
okay.
but I don't know. Maybe due to your network, it's maybe because my network and everything is clean here. Uh, okay, I will try to speak out loudly. So here we can see what is the if there are any null values. So what is our main objective of exploratory data analysis? To filter the data based on the redundancies or null values, or if there are any outliers. So by looking into this data, there is like 105 in everywhere we have like 105. So no nulls everywhere. So there is no null data. So if there is any null data, then we should go for seeing it. Like I will call another data. So I am calling this by using pandas, where so here we need to change this slashes backslash to forward slash, because in Windows we need to do this. In Linux and MacBook it is not needed to do this thing for calling the data. So okay, we
There is a
got this.
trick. Ramu, if you use a double slash, right, that also works.
Yes, I know. That is double slash also works here. Okay, thank you. And we have like Titanic, Titanic.info. So we have like when we look at this data set, like we have total number of passengers are around 891, but when it comes to age, it is only 714. So there is some missing values here. If you look at the cabin also, here also some missing values. So if we wanted to like if you how to fill this data, that is the main objective here. First we need to see whether there is any null values in exploratory data analysis. Then if there is null values, then how to fill this? I will explain this example. So we have like passenger ID, survival ratio, P class, age, siblings, parts, and fare. So here we have like in some of the cases we do not have this age. So how to write on it? Okay. See here we can see like here we have got a null value. So here we have another null value, and here we can see so many null values in this data. So we cannot actually, the problem statement is like something like this. We need to find the probability of chances of surviving in this Titanic accident. So actually it has happened and everything was gone. Here survival means 0 means false, 1 means true. 0 means they have died, and 1 means they have survived. So now we cannot remove this age because it will be one of the variable which may have some what we can say, it can be a constituent of this problem statement, because age also matters in surviving, because the small children cannot, or even old people cannot, but in case of the middle-aged people, they may survive. So we need to based on this data, can anyone say how to fill this? Like not available here, something like some jab or miss command is there, and how we can take these values? We have like some standard, like if you see into this, we have like mean age is 29, we have standard 14, minimum age is some 4 months, and 25 percentile or Q1 first quartile is 20, and this is median, and this is third quartile, and the maximum is 80. Now, can anyone say how to fill this how to fill this age? So are you getting anything like how to select this? We have like almost 4 months to 80. We cannot directly go for mean year, because based on here we can solve this problem by looking into the names. We have like Mr., Mrs., Miss, and we have somewhere master also, like master.
So just Ramu, just hold on. So all the guys, Ramu, just hold on. So all the guys, just remember this. Like just try to before this data is related to the Titanic ship. You are, I think, hope all of you might have watched the movie Titanic, right? But that was not only a movie; it happened in real scenario also. So there, how many survived on what basis? So this data showing that are trying to bring the some insights, or maybe we are going to predict who, like what is the possibility of surviving, or who is going. That is a later part of the solution. But the thing is, initially we are doing the EDA, that whatever the data we have. So now Ramu is explaining. This is the data we received, which is stored under this plot layer or wherever that data set, right? On that data, he is applying. Okay, he is looking at the data. So this is the whatever the methods you are looking here. No, this is very much you also have to look into any data set when you are start looking into, or when you are start exploring, right? You should get this into the things and then start working on that, and then how this is now. Okay, when we get the initial some sample 15 lines, 15 records of the data, he observed, okay, these are the nans, these are the things, these are the things. So you also should develop that thinking, what to do whenever any data you are getting it. Okay. Okay, I think context is clear with everybody. Okay, Ramu, you go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So for filling this, the main objective of exploratory data analysis is to fill this null values, because we cannot remove this column, because it plays a major role in surviving. So that's how we cannot remove this data. So we need to fill this gaps. So how means we need to, based on the names, we can go like miss means lesser than 16 years. If they are like Mr. or Mrs., it means like they are married. So based on that, we need to develop the distribution for even those who are like if they, we need to find out the mean of the all the people who are below 16 years age. So if we get that mean, then we can use that mean for filling these kinds of here we can fill this, because here it is given like miss. So for filling this, we can use the mean from the uh, mean from the calculated, which we are going to take a condition that the people are the age is lesser than 16. Then we can, after getting the mean, we can fill this gaps. So otherwise, if there is Mr., then we can go 28 or 29, like that. We can go the average, the mean of the whole data is something like 29. And if there is like master, then also we need to see that something, whenever they are calling master or miss, they are, the age is lesser than 16. So we need to take the mean from the calculated mean, where the condition is like age is lesser than 16. So that's how we need to fill this data by using exploratory data. In exploratory data analysis, we'll do this kind of filling of uh, null values which are required for our developing machine learning algorithm. So we'll move like we have started here. So something like so that I have explained for how to fill like a null value. So we'll move further and we'll see how to get some of the insights from the given data. Like we can go for some line charts. So here I am taking, we'll go here, line charts. I'm taking the data as stocks. On x-axis, I'm taking dates, and on y-axis, I'm going to take Google. So I can, so this how. So this is a line chart showing. So how at different dates, the Google price, like a stock of the price has moved. So actually the problem statement is something like this. What is the, how, what is the relation between the stock price of Google and Apple? So then we need to compare in the same chart, like Google versus, we'll go with Apple. So we'll get something like this. So we can see at different points of time what is their relative position on that particular date. When compared to Google, the Apple has performed well in the last some. If you are taking this as today is the present date, and this is some past 2 years or 1 year, then we can say that the Apple is performing well in this data. So that's how we can go for the insights. Next, like so we'll go for scatter data also. We'll scatter something. First, before that, we'll call some more data. I'm calling a data set which is named iris. This is from the plotly. So here we will see. Actually, we have got this data now. We don't know anything about it. What is iris? Whether it is some eyesight or something. So for knowing that, we need to see what is the info present in this data set. So for looking that, we have like different columns. Like we have 6 columns where we have like staple length, staple width, petal length, and petal width, and the species and species ID. So what we are getting here, we have got some flower data. So we need to, so based on the problem statement, we need to go for so if you look like we have like different species and some petal length is there, petal width, sepal width, and sepal length. So how to look into it, the whole data. So we'll plot a scatter plot. So when you are looking into this, you are not getting anything. So after going for plotting in either scatter plot or somewhere, we'll come to know what is happening inside. So that's why we need to go for so we'll move like this. So I have got like a staple width and a staple length. But I don't know what is the different. We have like different species. So I'm not getting anything here. So I'll go for coloring. So here now I can get some insight like this staple width is like higher in case of Setosa, and when we come across like this is Virginica, we have like a staple length of staple width is also high, and when we come across versicolor, so we have like some minimum or somewhat like staple width is 3.4. So that's how here in plotly we can, when we hover around the data, we'll get different values. So are you getting? But in case of like matplotlib or if you are using Cbon, we may not get this hover data. So hover data is very much like useful whenever we are going for this. We have got like staple length and staple width. We can also call like different like petal length is also there. We can call that like we'll take it as petal underscore length. So till now petal length was not there. Now we are getting even petal length. So that's how when we are pouring onto the data, we are getting different kinds of things. Like we can also go for like what we have now. We are able to see like staple length, staple width, and petal length. We do not have this petal width, so we can call that by over underscore data petal underscore width. So petal width. Wait for a while. Okay. See. Now we can see like petal width also. Previously we were unable to see petal width, but now we can when we are hovering onto the different plots, we can see the whole data. The species also we can see sepal length, sepal width, and petal length and petal width. So that's how we can get some insight. So by looking into the like panel data, we cannot get anything. But when we are coming into this picture, we are getting some insight. So based on the problem statement, we can use or we can go for developing or seeing, or we can look for different relationship between two different variables. So that's how we can go for exploratory data analysis. And we can also go for some more data, like we can see Gapminder data is also there. We can call it, which is present in the plotly. So you can see like I have called this Gapminder data from the Plotly website. So where we have like I have, for knowing what is happening inside this data, I'm selecting a random sample of 10. We have like country, different countries are there, even continent is there, year is also there, life expectancy is also there, population is there, GDP per capita is there. So ISO alpha, ISO underscore some number is there. So if you wanted to know, like the problem statement is, they wanted to know what is the relation between life expectancy and the GDP per capita. So we can go for either line chart or bar chart based on how to look into this. So like, and even before going for the problem statement, we can also see like, is there any relevant information from this ISO underscore alpha column and ISO underscore num. So if something like this data, if that is not required for knowing based on the problem statement, uh, I am able to see that ISO underscore alpha and ISO underscore num. So these two are not required for my thing. So for my problem statement, so I can drop these two columns. So I can like yeah, mind that. So I can drop those columns by simply using this. So now it got executed. So I can look into this data like now. So I'm able to remove these two columns. So in the exploratory data analysis, based on the problem statement, we can even remove some of the columns which are not required, or we can fill some of the various values if they are relevant to the problem statement. So that's how we can do this exploratory data analysis. So we can go for some dot, go for bar chart. X is equal to so I'll take life frequency comma y is equal to pop. Not getting it. So I'll go for line chart. So see, we are not getting anything from this, so I will not look into this. I'll go for a scatter plot. Now we are getting something. So based on the color is equal to, we'll go with something. So now we can see, so how is the life expectancy and the population? When the population is increasing, is the life expectancy is increasing or decreasing? That's how we can see from this scatter plot. Now, if you look into this, if you wanted to see only India, we can see only India. So this is like, so we'll also add, when we are hovering, we are able to get like India life expectancy and population. So we'll call the like year. So that's now I'm able to see which year. So I can go for once again. If I'm going to double click on India, I can see what is happening in different years. Like I can see in 1952, the life expectancy was 37.373 and population is some 372 million. So when it comes to 2007, life expectancy is 64 and population is something like 1.11 billion. So this is how this plotly is used to get any insight uh, from the given data. So if I wanted to see only Indonesia, or if I wanted to compare like two countries, so what is happening? So here, if you are looking into this, Indonesia, the population is not increasing like an exponential way, but it has got life expectancy more than us, because maybe that is a relation. If the population is less, we may life expectancy may increase. So here we have like life expectancy is 70 in 2007, but when compared to India, it is only when we are comparing it with Indonesia, India's is only 64. So that's how we can compare either two or even go for three countries